You're listening to Awards Magnet, a Gold Derby podcast hosted by Joyce and Christopher Rosen. Welcome back to Awards Magnet. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ng. Joyce, it's an emergency episode. We got hot off the presses, the Golden Globe nominations.
Have you even looked at the complete list yet?
I have. I'm looking at it right now. Okay. It's so hot off the presses, it burned my fingers that I'm looking at it right now.
Because you missed the announcement, which was riveting, honestly.
Well, I was working, Joyce. I had to post it on our website.
Yeah, but you could have kept it on in the background
I had it on in the tab, and I was doing it. Big stories, I guess. Amelia Price with 10 nominations, Joyce. So for the haters and losers out there, not a great day for the haters and losers.
I mean, not a great 3 days because it swept the European Film Awards on Saturday.
Yes,
it won the same 5 categories that Anatomy of a Fall won last year. So,
interesting. Yeah. 10 nominations. All over the place. Selena Gomez as a supporting actress nominee, best screenplay, best director, 2 of the songs getting in. So maybe we were wrong to discount El Mal for now.
I had both of them in the Globes.
I
don't know if you changed.
Let me see
anything. I had both of them in here.
I did change. I got 2 out of 6 on that one.
Congratulations.
Took a big L. Amelia Price had 7 nominations, led all musical, 10 nominations, all musical comedies. The Brutalist had 7 nominations, which led all dramas.
It led everything, like film and TV.
Yes. Brutalist had 7 nominations, which led all dramas. Conclave, 6 nominations. Anora, 5. Big day for The Substance Hive, Joyce, which I'm sure will make our YouTube comments happy. 5 nominations.
Yeah. To me, expected.
A lot of them for me were expected as well. Let's be real. I think we both. Did you have Margaret Qualley?
Obviously, I had Margaret.
Yes.
I had Coralie. I had the screenplay. Obviously, I had Demi and the film and picture. So I got all 5 for 5.
I did not have the screenplay, Joyce, because I went with a little movie called Sing Sing, which one of the big headline underperformers, I would say, for today. I'm looking down here the list. How many nominations did it get? Just the 1 for Coleman Domingo. Miss Drama, Miss Supporting Actor for Clarence Macklin with 6 spots. Miss Screenplay. Not what you want, I guess, but also, like we were talking about before we started recording, very small movie, very American movie. This is a big international group now of 300 people. And you could see that based on their nominations this year and last year, that they're going to have a little more of a highbrow taste.
Yeah, because even, one film that is American as well that did get in, like Nickel Boys.
Yes.
No other nominations, but it got in. But I think with the taste of the new Globes now, it's I actually went back to Nickel Boys. I was like, I think it can get in even with nothing else.
Interesting.
And it feels more like highbrow than Sing Sing. And then another film that also just got into pictures, September 5, which, everyone is just thrilled about on film Twitter.
That one I had, I believe.
You did.
I kind of thought they would go back because, again, to me, it's funny. I feel like next tune in next year, Joyce, because my picks are going to be great next year for the Golden Globes. But I was like, based on last year and now this year, I do think I kind of get a little more of a bead on what they like.
Now we have a second year to go off of.
And September 5 definitely felt like more of it's an international production, right?
Obviously.
In a lot of ways. And it seems like more of appealing maybe to international voters.
Well, it's set in Munich, Germany, right. The Olympics, global sports event.
Yes. But about an American TV channel, but still, the story is global. And I just felt like it
was a game-changing broadcast around the world.
Yes.
It was, it affected the world. So
I really enjoyed seeing that. Even looking at the overall nominations, and we'll talk about these more in detail, but I was like, here's another example where I was like, June Squibb and Michael Keaton feel like they would have absolutely both gotten in with the Hollywood Foreign Press. And this year, neither one of them get in, right? Amy Adams gets in for Night Bitch, which you could argue maybe would have also gotten in for the Hollywood Foreign Press. But I feel like
Amy would have gotten in over June. I went back to Amy as well. I was like, I think they'll just do her. And it's also a more recent movie as well. But Keaton definitely is more HFPA.
And Jesse Plemons gets in that 6th spot for the New Globes instead of Keaton from Beetlejuice. But
Can winner. Jesse Plemons.
Beetlejuice, a nominee, Joyce, for cinematic and box office achievement.
What a list.
It's a great list. I had it here. Let me see if I can find it again because I closed it out.
How dare you?
Alien Romulus, great box office achievement or cinematic achievement. Which one would it be, I guess? We'll never know. Beetlejuice, Deadpool and Wolverine, Glad 2-Ater, Inside Out 2, Twister's Wicked, and The Wild Robot, which I kept hearing as One Wild Robot, obviously.
Which
and
is
I kept
the correct
being
title.
like, why is Morris Chestnut saying The Wild Robot when it is One Wild Robot? I couldn't figure it out.
Well, obviously, the internet is up in arms. Probably Josh Brolin as well, over Dune's snub here, and also Denis Villeneuve's snub.
So Dune, again, the picture nominee and then the score nomination for a score that's not eligible at the Oscars.
Or the BAFTAs.
Let me ask you this. Is Dune the movie that's going to end up getting... We all have it in Best Picture. Is this movie not even making it into Best Picture at the Oscars? The Globes don't matter in terms of Oscars because the voting is different and blah, blah, blah. All that is said. Like, do you actually think that we're over... I don't even know if I'm overrating Dune because I don't really have it in a lot of spots and I don't have Denis getting in anyway, much to Josh Brolin's consternation. But, like, do you actually think, like, that is a sneaky forthcoming snub because it's not going to be anybody's favorite because it's out of sight, out of mind?
I think it's probably fine, but I've always had it like in the middle range. Like it feels like it's one of the, safe picks, obviously, as we were trying to fill out the bottom tier. But I still think it's probably pretty safe. Like I think it needs to hope that nothing else forthcoming really hits and break like a complete unknown. I don't think it'll be, obviously it's not gonna make as much as like Dune, but it could be really popular just among voting bodies, right? Like it did well today here at the Globes. So, but I think it's probably, I mean, like I think most of us probably have like a 9 right now, like an 8 or a 9, and maybe you're like hope dicting something here and there, but it's like one more spot. So I feel like Dune is pretty safe there, but we've talked about this months before, like how it might underperform compared to the first movie, right? Which was also during COVID. Like we're pretty sure like it's not going to win 6 Oscars again. Like I still have it in screenplay, adapted screenplay there, because it's a pretty soft category. But I can easily see it missing,
I took it out
and
of
now
it.
like Wicked is like the actual like populist massive box office hit. So
well, let me ask you this then. Wicked is the box office hit. As we mentioned here, cinematic box office achievement as well as a nominee. But I'd also argue underperformed here with the Globes. Would you say that's fair or no?
No.
You don't think it's fair?
Why? Because you had John Chu in director?
Well, I think most people had John Chu in director.
I didn't have John Chu in director.
Well, I did, and I think most people did because he was in the top 5,
So it's only a snub for you.
Well, it's a snub for most people who predicted them. I mean, come on. Like, he was in, like, the top 5 or top 6, I think. It wasn't like it was, like, hard to imagine him getting in.
But I don't think... But we, again, like, it's, like, all contextual, right? Like, we've talked about how he could hit everything and miss the Oscars, too.
Correct. Which now he didn't hit everything. So like, I think if you were, now I never had him in at the Oscars, but I did have him in here. And I think a lot of people who had him in at the Oscars then maybe are rethinking it today, or maybe they're not because they don't care. But I don't know. I think like he probably needed to get in here. If you were still holding, like, I just think he's going to miss at the Oscars, like we've talked about, because that's not the type of directing that they usually, reward. And it's certainly not. If I was going to take a look at Top Gun Maverick and Barbie, I would say this is not as good as those films, even though I really like Wicked. I'm not on like an anti-Wicked train here. But I just think like he probably should have rated here as a nominee, and that he didn't is like, not great.
Yeah, I think if you're like a local predicting the Globes, maybe for the first time, you might expect a John Chu nomination. But even taking the new Globes into account, like, he just never felt like a Globes pick either. Like, their directing lineups, even if you just look at the past couple years, have arguably been better than the Oscars a lot of the times.
That's true.
They definitely go for more female directors, too, just like this year again.
Well, that's why we knew we had... I had Coralie Farjay in there. I have Payal Kapadi in at the Oscars, Joyce, and now I'm actually feeling even better about that because I just think that movie is so embraced and so acclaimed, actually more so than even Seed of a Sacred Fig, which Mohammed Rasulov won Best Director at LA Film Critics last night. We're recording this Monday, obviously. On Sunday, he won there, and people were very excited about that because of the track record of that winner, maybe, corresponding to a director nomination. But I still think Payal Kapadi could get in at the Oscars over Mohammad Rasulov. I don't know. I mean, like, I think
they both got boosts.
Yes.
The last 12 hours, yes. Basically.
And it's possible they both get in. Last year I felt like we were talking about this and it was like Jonathan Glazer and Justine Triet will both get in. At this time last year, maybe we were like discussing this, and I feel like they both got in, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them get in too, and then figure out who misses amongst like Edward Berger, Brady Corbet, Sean Baker, and Jacques Audiard, all of whom were nominated for the Globes here as well.
Yeah. I think, some people are still rating like Ramel Ross, obviously, who has a shot at the Oscars too. But yeah, it could just be those three plus Mohammed and Payal. So,
and it's like All We Imagine Is Light, I don't think would get in for Best Picture, and obviously not eligible for International Feature, but like it still could show up here, I think. And I think even like, I don't think like if both got in, do you think one of those two movies has to get in for Best Picture, or can we just have 10 movies for Best Picture and then 2 lone directing nominees?
I don't think they both need, like, I think one of them could get in. Like, I can see, like, Secret Fig getting in, and then just one of them is a lone directing nominee without the corresponding Best Picture nomination.
Other snubs then, I guess, while we're looking. So, best, which one do we want to go to? Drama actress, Joyce?
You could just go through each category. I don't know why you're just picking and choosing.
All right. Fine. So why don't we do the drama stuff first? So The Brutal is Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, and September 5. We kind of talked about this already. Nickel Boys a lone nominee. Dune Part 2, in essence, a lone nominee, but it has the score nomination as well. September 5, a lone nominee. Conclave, Complete Unknown, and Brutalist. Not a lot of surprises here, I would say. But Nickel Boys, I didn't have. You said you switched back to it. It makes sense, obviously, because of the highbrowness of this movie.
Yeah, like, I feel like Globes, like, just, again, this is only the second year we have data of this body, but they're like a mix of, it's like highbrow critics and also international and also like semi-basic, And
you kind of see that I don't even know if I would say that. Do you see that in the drama actress category? Nominees were Pamela Anderson for Last Showgirl, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door, Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, and Kate Winslet for Lee, Joyce.
So one of the big snubs, Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Her Truth, who had a great weekend, or a great Sunday specifically.
Yes.
So people are also mad about that. I do think she really needed this to just maintain her level of like being in the mix, like I still have her at the Oscars. Like I've had her in the Oscars before all of this, like this past week, but I think obviously she has the critics' support, winning New York and LA. And she also won the British Independent Film Award yesterday as well. Mm-hmm. So I think she can still get in at BAFTA. She probably won't hit SAG. But I think like she needs the Globe nom just to, it's like for like the momentum,
Yeah, after such a great weekend, like you were saying, and specifically Sunday when she won, and also winning New York Film Critics Circle last week, it feels like this is like a little damper on that momentum, especially because this is 6 spots. And I think you could argue she probably could have gotten in over Tilda Swinton or Kate Winslet or Pamela Anderson, I guess, in terms of like what people would have wanted to see. No disrespect to those other nominations, but like, I think, people are definitely mad about Kate Winslet, a double nominee because she also got her for The Regime on the TV side. So. Well, I had Kate in for Lee, so I feel good about that, but I did not have Tilda in, which I jumped ship on The Room Next Door.
I dropped Tilda. I had Pam. As you know, I had Lily Rose Depp.
Yes, I had Lily Rose Depp too, actually.
Oh, you switched to her?
I think I switched to her as well. And I had Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. Remember The Outrun, Joyce?
She'll still go as Jax +1 because he was nominated for Slow Horses.
Yeah, so. Team Outrun, I think, is got a
Team Outrun and Team Blitz.
It's like what is it in Hunger Games when they blow up they blow up the pictures at the end of the day when the people have been taken out, right? That we're going to get that for Blitz and Outrun, I think, for Saoirse, unfortunately, for this year.
So for winners here, I was thinking like before today, like it could be between Nicole and Marianne, but
Yes,
Marianne
same.
is not here. So
Same.
now I'm just like, I like Nicole. I don't. It's like,
Well, I think people will knee-jerk pick Angelina Jolie, who
yes,
I've dropped from my best actress picks. We talked about this last week at the Oscars. And we've talked about also how there's absolutely going to be one or two ridiculous snubs in the Oscars actors category.
like, I mean, no matter what, because there's like 8 people fighting for 5 slots.
All of them, all 8 of those, except for Marianne Jean-Baptiste, were nominated by the Globes, basically. So that's a tough beat. I don't know. I still think we never had her in for SAG. We've talked about this. Like, even, that was like, it seemed like an impossibility.
It's like Daniel Craig. Like, I don't have him at SAG, even if he gets in at the Oscars. I'm like, right. I'm not doing that.
So I still think she'll get in at BAFTA, and I think she could still get in at the Oscars. But I guess if it's between Marianne Jean-Baptiste and Angelina Jolie at this point, I don't know. I feel like you would say like Cynthia Erivo is not getting in, I'd imagine. I know.
No, I think I never said Cynthia cannot get in. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, I mean, you don't have her in, I guess.
I don't have her in, but that doesn't mean I don't think she can get in. There's only 5 slots. I can't put everyone in there.
Right. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, who is going to... I don't know.
Well, that's the problem, because it's like, I mean, you, unlike me, you switch people in and out all the time.
True.
Like me, I'm thinking about people. I just don't make the changes. That doesn't mean I don't think they can't get in.
True.
I
guess what I would say is I'm probably not going to drop Cynthia, and I guess we'll see how the rest of the season shakes out. But I was like, I'm going to keep Marianne. I guess I'll keep Marianne. I'm going to keep Marianne Jean-Baptiste, even though she didn't get nominated here. But that is that felt like a
she
miss.
Can still get the number ones at the Oscars. Like, she can be the passion pick. She'll be like a Charlotte Rampling.
Right. Like, to me, like you were saying, I thought she was win competitive here if she got nominated. So now I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So now I'm just like, but like all of these movies are weak here. Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, like Angie also, I mean, it's like regionals. She was never going to win the highbrow critics, but she's been really flopping at the regionals, the critics awards that have announced already. So even when they nominate Maria in other categories like cinematography,
am I right here? I'm trying to look at the list quick. Oh no, the only movie that got more of these nominees, the only one I guess that got more than one nomination then is Last Showgirl.
Well, I'm Still Here,
and I'm Still Here too. They both got 2 nominations, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a lot of like you said, these are not strong movies maybe for the Globes. Drama actor Joyce was pretty great and pretty chalk, I guess, right? Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Daniel Craig for Queer, Coleman Domingo Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes Conclave, and our boy Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice, a double nominee. Joyce.
Congratulations to him.
I'd love to see it.
Yes, very well deserved. This is just the top 6 in the odds. We both dropped Seb for Killian, but I'm happy Seb got in for this. And also Jeremy Strong later in supporting.
So when we were talking about this on last week, and we were like, we both dropped Seb for Cillian Murphy, independent of even talking about it. We just did it. I was like, oh, all the small things like, what was his movie called?
Small Things Like These.
Small Things Like These. I was like, oh, it felt very international and like a Halo nomination from last year. But then we have also talked about how The Apprentice is likely to play really well with international people, more so than American audiences, just because they may be able to take a more clear-eyed view of Trump and like the movie itself, right? And so I guess in hindsight, then what I'm saying is I'm not surprised that Seb got in for this and Jeremy Strong got in for playing Roy Cohn.
I mean, well, once, because obviously they did supporting actor first. So once they read Jeremy Strong, first of all, I was like, Roman and Kendall back together again. And then I was like, Seb is in.
So good. Love it. Based on the nominations, feel like, and based on this group, I feel like Adrian Brody remains the favorite here, right? Would you agree?
Well, it's the most nominated drama. Yeah. And yeah, he feels, I think I would probably put him in first and then Timmy in second.
Same.
So,
why don't we we could do musical comedy and then go through those, I guess, and then do supporting and stuff like that. We'll just do this on the fly. Musical comedy nominees. I think this is the top 6, right? Honora Challengers, Millie Perez, Real Pain, Substance, and Wicked.
Yeah, chalk. No surprises. I don't know. What else is there to say?
None. Good to see Challengers there. It got 4 nominations, which I loved.
The song nom.
Love the song nom.
I mean, honestly, kind of a snub that Josh O'Connor didn't get in after.
They really, really loved the movie, obviously, but didn't have room for Josh. For comedy musical actress, Joyce, we talked about this a little bit. Amy Adams, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon, Mikey Madison, Demi Moore, and Zendaya. I think that was the top 6, right? Or was
yes.
June Squibb still in the top 6? Okay. No surprises here, really, I guess. Would you say?
No.
Like, nothing, right? Nothing to say here. Who do you think is going to win based on this list?
Right now at 9:31 a.m. Eastern on December 9th.
Yes.
I think I would probably put Mikey in first.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's like Mikey, Demi, or Cynthia, I think. Even though like Carla is from the 10-time nominee.
Yeah, it's really this feels really competitive, right? Because you can make a case for all 4 of them to win.
Yeah.
All 4 of those movies did really well. Good weekend for Mikey, winning at LA Film Critics Circle, and Anora they went crazy for, which is really
and also Boston, which is Anora, a very Boston coded movie, even though it takes place in Brooklyn. couldn't
even fake it. We mentioned this briefly, but comedy musical actor, I feel like this one they're going to give out first on the show, maybe, because it's, I don't know, Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain, Hugh Grant for Heretic, Gabriel LaBelle, Saturday Night, Jesse Plemons, Kinds of Kindness, Glenn Powell, Hitman, and Sebastian Stan for A Different Man, our fave.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Seb in first for this, but I can totally see Jesse winning.
So Real Pain was the quote unquote bigger movie, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
But I think Jesse could win, or Seb.
Yeah.
If it was the old Globes, maybe Glenn Powell or
Glenn
Gabriel LaBelle.
Glenn is totally old Globes.
But I'm not going to predict him to win. But it was nice to see him nominated. So the supporting categories, Joyce, it could be a comedy, a drama, any motion picture is how they call it. Supporting actress, this one I feel like, I mean, I guess the online response to this was mixed. Is that fair?
Well, I mean, we'll read them first.
Selena Gomez for Amelia Perez, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez.
So right off the bat, alphabetically, Selena was first, which means Danielle Detweiler snubbed once again because she didn't get in for Till at the Globes either 2 years ago.
Correct.
And then immediately after Selena, obviously Ariana Grande. So just back to back, incredible. Felicity getting in, I think she really needed this because it like she hasn't really been popping anywhere, like the regional critics. Margaret, I think, was expected. Like I had her certainly.
Same.
I also had Isabella for her 8 minutes and 16 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Zoe. So, but then like Danielle's snub coupled with the Sing Sing underperformance and Marianne's snub, film Twitter is not happy.
Well, there's something they all have in common, Joyce.
Yes.
Not a great optic look, I would say.
Optics are not great, but I think the only one that is like, is really Marianne, because like we mentioned with Sing Sing, it's been small, like, I mean, A24 is basically acting like they're releasing it for the first time next month with their new campaign. And like we said, very American, and same thing with the piano lesson too. And obviously we've talked about for months how Danielle possibly would be a lone nominee and now feels like she very much would be a lone nominee.
I had her. Now, I did not have her in here in our picks at all.
I had her in here. I didn't have Selena in here, actually.
I didn't have Selena either. I went with Monica Barbaro for Complete Unknown in my 6th slot, but I had the other 5. And I could imagine that based on how Complete Unknown performed, I wouldn't be surprised if she was 7th or 8th, I guess, because I don't know. They definitely like the movie more than they like the piano lesson. Maybe
Elle Fanning ate into her votes.
Possible. I saw somebody the other day suggesting they are both obviously competitive for nominations at the Oscars. I can't imagine they both get in. But anyway, I was not surprised to see Danielle Detweiler miss, is what I'm saying again, because like we said, it's like a very American story, right? And it's a small movie that has not really popped so far.
It's been on Netflix for 2 weeks now, and I don't know if anyone could tell it's been on Netflix for 2 weeks.
This may be too mean. I'm just going to tell you. I was talking to somebody who is like, "Oh, look at this. This is so cool." Netflix obviously does tastemaker events and stuff. They're great, and like Netflix does a great job with all their movies.
Yes.
And somebody was like, they had one a few weeks, maybe like last week for for piano lesson. And I was talking to someone who was in the industry, and they were like, "Oh, look at this! This is a cool thing. I was thinking of maybe going to this. I haven't seen it yet." And I'm like, "Did you realize it was out on Netflix yet?" And they were like, "No." So even in the industry, the visibility maybe not as high as it could be, I would say.
Are they? Has it gotten any like front page action on Netflix? Like,
I don't really open up Netflix like that. Do you?
Yeah. No, because usually. Yeah, I don't go there on Netflix every day, but I'm just wondering if, like, even when it dropped on November 22nd, there, like, were they, like, you know, like, the first, the top thing in the carousel?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If anybody knows, email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. But long story short to say, I'm not surprised Danielle Deadwyler missed. I'm not surprised people are mad she missed. I still think she has the potential to get in as a lone nominee at the Oscars, and I still have her in at the Oscars because I think she could still make it, but this is not a great look.
The good thing for her is that this category is completely volatile. This is my favorite acting category this year.
100%.
It's the best. Because even like our presumed top three of Zoe, Ariana, and Felicity in whatever order you want them in, they're not doing too hot with the critics.
Well, the funny thing we've seen like from the critics groups is, and I guess I'm not surprised because I think we knew this from Cannes, and I knew this after Telluride. Critics just were soft on Amelia Perez and now hate Amelia Perez, right? They've turned, it's like milk is soured. So they just absolutely hate this movie.
And it's always been an industry movie. So. And
the industry continues, and obviously the Globes are not industry, but the industry and international people continue to show that they love it. And so, and I also think it plays something we talked about, I think weeks ago when it came out. I think it plays older because I think it's like an older person, like the progressive ideals of the movie appeal to an older, like boomer type audience. You know, it's like Green Book adjacent in that regard. And so I think it'll play well, obviously, with Oscar voters, but not so. Long story short, I'm not surprised people are mad, I guess, online, but the critics have not embraced this movie. So Zoe Saldana is not going to win a lot of critics groups,
which we also expected even before like Wicked. You know, came up. But it's not a highbrow movie, and like neither is Wicked either. It's just Wicked is a very populist movie. So I don't think, I mean, besides like Ariana stans, I don't think anyone expected her to win LA or New York. No. You know, and then Felicity's, she's like the Emily Blunt of The Brutalist, right?
Great.
Yeah, and like Emily also missed some regionals last year around this time. You know, so it's like like the critics are avoiding these three and like picking other people to award and vote for. And Danielle won Boston yesterday, so I think she really needs to keep up like these critics wins, even though there's no overlap with industry voters. But it's just like keeping her name in the mix, right? It's like the headlines, and then showing people like there's another option here if you don't care about the presumed top three, you know, or their movies. Might
tell me. I mean, like I think with Danielle, I still have her in. I'm gonna keep her in, but I think she absolutely needs SAG. I think she can get it too.
She'll get SAG.
And if she gets in at SAG, that'll be fine. I don't believe she would get in at BAFTA based on their history with race, obviously too, and just again a very small American story. It just seems like unheard of maybe that she would get in there.
Yeah, but I mean, she got in at SAG for Till, but that was also juried, and it's no longer juried. Right. So
this is the most fun category. I think this is not the last we'll see of Margaret Qualley as a nominee, and I wouldn't even be surprised if she makes it in at the Oscars, even if Demi Moore doesn't. I do think that's in the cards, I would say, based on the categories and based on her performance in the movie.
Yeah, like it like, and then I wouldn't be surprised if like Monica or Elle got in either, if A Complete Unknown really takes off. So
I was an early adopter on Selena. I think you still have her in at the Oscars.
Yeah, I never dropped her,
and you're not dropping her yet. But I'm not sold on her getting nominated.
I have her in 5th, I think.
Yeah.
So, but as we know, the industry likes this movie more.
They do. So she very possibly get in. And then supporting actor, Joyce, in any motion picture. Yor Borsov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, the LA Film Critics Association supporting performance winners. Nice. Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, and Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2.
The Roy Boys.
Back in action.
It's great.
Clarence Macklin, the big snub, Joyce.
Yes.
not surprised based on, again, the size. I guess I'm a little surprised because I had him in, but I'm not surprised in hindsight because of the smallness of the movie. And it's not really an international movie.
Yeah. So I guess if you were, like a Clarence acolyte, hoping for him, I mean, he won Gotham, again, voted on by 5 people last week. But if you're hoping that he would provide more resistance to Kieran, who's just been dominating critics awards, New York, LA, he also won NBR, obviously. And then he won Washington yesterday, too. And Boston went with Ed yesterday. So yeah, this doesn't help Clarence's cause, basically.
So we both, I would say, probably, I haven't looked at your SAG picks, but I'm sure, are you expecting him at SAG, Clarence Macklin?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's such a SAG movie. Not
at BAFTA, based on this, I would argue. Not that these are the similar voters, but again, international wise.
Yeah. I haven't thought about BAFTA with Sing Sing or him. I don't know, but I think he could get in there, I guess. Yeah.
So then at the Oscars, I mean, the top 5 right now.
I mean, I still have him at the Oscars.
We have him and Yura Borisov, Kieran Culkin, Guy Pearce, and Denzel Washington, right? That's the 5. But Ed Norton and Jeremy Strong, probably they're competitive, I would say. And I guess if they go crazy for a complete unknown, I would put Edward Norton in, but I don't know who I would drop.
So I mean, like, no shade to Jeremy. I love Jeremy. And I think he's amazing in The Apprentice. I feel like he would be the first to fall from this 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Ed, again, who I really enjoyed in A Complete Unknown. I think really good, Pete Seeger. But I think he's if the movie, again, opens and does really well, I think he could usurp Stanley Tucci as like the Best Picture coattail nominee in this category, And
then who does that knock out?
Well, it depends on like who you have. Like if you already have Stanley Tucci in your 5 at the Oscars, that's what I'm saying. Because I know some people do.
But what if you don't? What if you've got Yura Borisov, Kieran Culkin, Guy Pearce, Denzel Washington, and Clarence Macklin?
I mean, I think it could be Denzel, honestly. I think Denzel did half of what he needed to do, because when Denzel hits Globe and SAG, he does not miss the Oscar nomination. Mm-hmm. He obviously does not need BAFTA, as we know.
Correct.
So I think if Denzel hits SAG, it's going to be hard not to predict him. But if he misses SAG, it'll be shakier.
I think, yeah, that's what I was kind of leading you towards. I was hoping
then,
like, what if Denzel misses?
Because you don't want to say Denzel yourself?
No, I was hoping you would agree with my thought process, and you did. That was nice. I was thinking it would be Denzel, too. Because I'm like, I think, because Ed, if Complete Unknown is a Best Picture nominee, and it's just, it does well at the box, it like becomes like this late push, I think it'll probably usurp
A Complete Unknown is such a boomer bait movie. Mm-hmm. Like, even if it's not going to do, like, exceptionally well at the box office, I think the boomers in the industry will just fall head over heels for it.
And so, I mean, it's possible Ed and Denzel get in, and then you're talking like Yura Borisov or Clarence misses. I mean, that would be kind of, I could see that happening. Yura Borisov feels like he's going to hit everywhere now, but maybe not at SAG. And then who knows? But maybe he'll hit at SAG too. I mean, obviously people like have responded to that movie and like love it. And if you watch the movie, it kind of feels like we talked about like the Emmys when Kieran was winning Best Actor for Succession. It was like, if you watch the show, he's going to win because he's great, right? That kind of thing. So I don't know. But yeah.
Yura is like the type of Oscar nominee who usually would be the surprise nominee on nomination morning, mm-hmm. except he is showing up in everywhere. All the precursors right now.
Yes.
So.
Quickly, because we want to get to TV too, Joyce, because the Globes do TV.
My fave, TV.
We saved the best for last for Joyce.
Yes.
Director was Jacques. We talked about this, but Jacques Audiard, Sean Baker, Edward Berger, Brady Corbet, Coralie Farge, and Payal Kapadia. So very highbrow, very international, and pretty cool list.
Yeah, I like this list. As we said, no Denis Villeneuve. So,
but we were off him anyway.
I mean for the Oscars, yeah. Because I have Mohamed Rasoulof in there. I did have Denis here for the Globes, but they went with Payal, which is a great pick.
I had Chew instead. That was my high, but I had everybody else. And Pael is a great pick, and that's fun. Screenplay Joyce, Amelia Perez showing up here as well. Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbin and Mona Fastbold for Brutalist, Jesse Eisenberg, Coralie Farge, and Peter Strawn for Conclave.
Yeah, and like we said, no Sing Sing.
No Sing Sing. What got in instead of Sing Sing, I guess, would be the question. Based on my picks, it was...
Amelia.
Probably. No, I had Amelia, actually,
you had
too.
Amelia?
I didn't have the... you know what? I dropped Substance from Screenplay.
Wow, how could you drop the Substance?
Well, because I wanted to get Amelia in. But I should have dropped Sing Sing, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. What this could be a Substance win. That was my take looking at this category.
It could. I think Honora will probably be first in the odds.
Yeah.
I don't know. A Real Pain won LA yesterday, which is great.
With the Nora's runner-up.
Yeah.
Quickly, score was Conclave, The Brutalist, Wild Robot, or One Wild Robot, Amelia Perez, Challengers, and Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
How seriously do you take Amelia Perez? I guess pretty would be the answer at the Oscars in this category, because I have not really thought about putting it in at the Oscars, but I'm like, maybe that's like overthinking something so obvious.
I think it's definitely competitive there, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it missed there either, just with like that branch too. Like they could be lazy, but they could also be really inspired sometimes. Like they're really lazy with like John Williams.
So right now I have at the Oscars, Brutalist, Conclave, Wild Robot, The Room Next Door, and Challengers. So maybe I should put Amelia Perez in for one of those. Who knows?
What would you pick to win here?
Great question. Probably The Brutalist, I would say.
Not Challengers.
I don't think I would pick Challengers. I think The Brutalist has the potential to be like a score sweeper this year. Though I really love Volker Bertelmann's Conclave score. Much prefer it to All Quiet, frankly. But I don't know
Obviously.
if it's not going to win, probably.
It's like he won for the wrong movie.
I mean, that sometimes happens. And then original song, Beautiful That Way, music and lyrics by Andrew Wyatt and Miley Cyrus and Likey Zackerson. And then Compress Repress from Challengers. El Mal, Forbidden Road from Better Man, Joyce. You big Better Man fan?
I nailed it. Remember?
Kiss the Sky and Mi Camino. I was so wrong on this. I just want to read my picks just to take the biggest L. So I had One Wild Robot and Mi Camino. Great. I had Always Wanted a Brother from Lion King. Mufasa the Lion King. Remember that movie?
I had that too.
I'm still weighing on that. I don't know. There's like 7 or 8 Lin-Manuel Miranda original songs in this movie. And Barry Jenkins made it sound so good in that Vulture piece, Joyce.
Well, I think they probably were just late on it. Or, you know, like, so like it hasn't been heard, basically.
I think that's probably true. I also had Will and Harper from Harper, Harper and Will Go West from Will and Harper. Got to learn how to read. One of these days.
Yes.
Like a Bird from Sing Sing. And then Beyond from Moana 2.
You just went all in on Sing Sing.
I didn't even have Luke Combs for Twisters. Just a disaster.
I mean, I had the double Amelia Perez here, even though I don't have it at the Oscars. And obviously I had Better Man.
I might just
I
might put Amelia Perez at the Oscars now, just because the double Amelia Perez. I could just see them being lazy and doing it and throwing Diane Warren in there and then figuring out the other 2 spots.
What are you going to tell your wife then?
I mean, she's going to have to learn to like this El Mal, I guess. I don't know. Good luck. You know what? I'll say this. It will be a cool performance at the Oscars if it gets nominated. So in that regard, I would like it. And I guess that's it for... Did we miss anything? I guess I think we didn't do animated. Let me scroll up. Well...
like chalk, basically.
Yeah. Flow, Inside Out, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, Wallace and Gromit, and The Wild Robot. And then film in the non-English language, All We Imagine Is Light, Amelia Perez, The Girl with the Needle, which I've seen people predicting now in cinematography, Joyce. That feels like a Joyce pick. I don't know if it's even in our prediction center yet. But,
I don't know either.
But it's black and white, right?
Yeah, because it won the Camera Marge. So
I'm Still Here, The Seed of Sacred Fig, and Vermiglio were the non-English language films. And then TV, Joyce. You know what the Globes love?
The Bear.
They still love The Bear. 5 nominations, led all shows.
Yeah, they basically they replaced Abby Elliott with Emmy winner Liza Colon-Zayas this year.
Correct.
So I think because on Thursday we got the Critics' Choice TV nominations, and The Bear bombed. Only got the one nomination for Liza. It won 4 awards last year for The Bear, and now it's a very Handmaid's Tale coded with the Emmys. Remember, we just got the one nomination for Lizzie. But no, Globes still in on The Bear.
And let me ask you this. I think people were celebrating the Critics' Choice Award snubs because they don't like The Bear.
Yes.
Now, The Bear is like Amelia Perez of TV, in my estimation. So now they're all mad, probably, that The Bear is nominated here heavily at the Globes and led all shows.
I don't know. I think it was in the top 6 for most of these categories, if not all of them. I would think so.
It was.
Yeah. So, but I think it's more, I think maybe they thought Critics' Choice, Critics' Choice gave them hope that The Bear would lose a category or 2 here, and it didn't. But this is also something we talked about last week when we did our predictions. Like, I'm not sure how many of the 300
people
in the Globes are voting for TV, because we all know they just care about movies. So I imagine all of the members, like 300 whatever or something, voted for a film. And maybe like 100 something voted for TV. And like I feel like a lot of them don't watch TV, but I feel like they would have watched The Bear, or just know about The Bear because it's one of the bigger shows of the year.
And I think you kind of see that in these we talked about, like, when we did our picks for series, it was like I had Shrinking and The English Teacher, I believe, in mine. I put them both in, and neither one of them showing up here, being replaced instead
by Gentleman.
2 massive Netflix shows, The Gentleman and Nobody Wants This, right? Like,
yeah, so I went back to English Teacher as a hope diction. I knew it wasn't going to get in, but I was like, I'm just going to put it in because I love it so much.
I dropped Abbott like a dummy.
Wow.
Because I was like, you know what? It felt like, again,
it was aging out of it.
Yes, I did. And I was like, if it was the old Globes, I think they would have put these other shows in, right? But it's not. And so when you're thinking of this, like you said, I don't think the whole group is voting for TV, and they're also not watching TV.
Which is very rude.
So
a lot of these shows are better than some of these movies.
So for musical comedy, then the nominees were Abbott Elementary, The Bear, The Gentleman, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, and Only Murders. So the 2 massive Netflix shows, basically.
Well, we had Nobody Wants This.
Yes.
And then remember, I think almost all of us had The Gentleman in the Emmys.
Yes.
Earlier this year, and it missed. So, but it made it here. So.
Yes. And then we could do performances here. So actress in a musical comedy, Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brunson, Io Debris, Selena Gomez, Kathryn Hahn, and Jean Smart. You
had Kathryn.
I did. I actually had all of these. This was a 6 for 6.
Congratulations to you.
I'm
much
so proud.
Improved from your song predictions.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wasn't surprised by this. Kathryn getting in is cool. And everybody else. Selena Gomez, a double nominee at the Globes. Congratulations for the Selenators.
Yeah. I imagine Jean will win this, and also Hacks winning series.
So that's what you think, right? Like, Hacks got 3 nominations, but seems like it will probably still win the series.
They've
right?
awarded Sacks.
Yes.
Hacks before.
Sacks would be a pretty good show too. It could be about a department store. Somebody should do that, like Matt Weiner style. Jean definitely will win this comedy actress category. And comedy actor, Joyce. So those nominees were Adam Brody, Ted Danson, Steve Martin, Jason Segel, Martin Short, and Jeremy Allen White. Sorry to that man being Brian Jordan Alvarez.
I know, my guy BJA, but yeah, I felt like he could get him more than the show, but I kept him. We talked about this last week. I was like, should I drop him for Ted Danson? Cal Burnett Award recipient Ted Danson, and I should have, but I didn't. So, yeah,
pretty great night for Ted Danson. Then looking forward to that.
But they're giving out that award and Cecil B. DeMille at a separate ceremony. They're pulling up. They're having their own governor's awards.
Wow, way to go!
I know.
Well, they'll probably fold in like a highlight package, I guess.
Yeah, like what the Oscars do, but it's like they don't want to drop stand up and the box office award.
No,
for Viola Davis and Ted Danson.
We talked about this, and that Jeremy will start possibly losing for The Bear in the Winter Awards. Do you still think that now at the Globes, at least?
Yeah.
And then
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who I would pick here. I don't know if I would pick either of the Bartons. Ted is already getting an award, and I don't know if they would do him. I feel like the old Globes would do that, maybe. Like the HFPA would like double up. I don't think Jason would win. Does that just leave Adam? Like, he is from a series nominee.
I kind of think Adam, I might put him in second if I was ranking these. I'll probably still have Jeremy winning because since they've shown they had no, the backlash did not reach Globes voters. Not that, like you said, like it wasn't unexpected to get these nominations. I still think he could win here, but I think Adam Brody is like definitely really competitive.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to him last week, so if you had talked to him, you would put him in first.
I love him so much.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah.
That's good to hear. Let's do drama series, and then limited series we do supporting. But drama series was Day of the Jackal.
Our fave, Day of the Jackal.
Both had it in, I think, right?
Yes.
Which I love. We went for it. We got it. The Diplomat, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Shogun, Slow Horses, and Squid Game. So again, I overthought this. I put Black Doves in. I had no Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Just a disaster. And that was wrong. So no presumed innocent here, Joyce.
No, I put The Diplomat back in. We both had dropped Squid Game, but we should have just kept it. I would have gotten this completely right had I not dropped Squid Game.
I dropped all of these. I put industry in, Joyce. I just went like all Hope Diction. I got 2 out of 6.
Neither of our faves got in, English teacher and industry.
No.
So
and Fallout didn't get in here. Kind of like, I guess, smaller stakes, but I feel like if industry is going to make a run, I think it has to get in somewhere in these winter awards for it to be like a serious competitive show at the Emmys. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yes.
Congratulations to Shogun on its Golden Globe win, I would imagine here. Let me see. And then drama actress, Joyce. Kathy Bates for Matlock, Emma Darcy for House of the Dragon, Maya Erskine for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Keira Knightley for Black Doves, Slow Doves, Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, and Anna Sawai for Shogun.
If this were the HFPA, Keira would win for Slow Doves.
So I had Marissa Abella and Sharon Horgan in. I
had Sharon, but I'm not surprised at all that they completely ignored Bad Sisters and went with Emma Darcy.
Yeah, Emma Darcy, I think, was 5th or 6th in the odds. So obviously, like, the users thought.
And obviously, House of the Dragon, former drama series winner.
Yeah, fine category. And then drama actor choice: Donald Glover for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Jake Gyllenhaal for Presumed Innocent, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Eddie Redmayne, Day of the Jackal, Hiroyuki Sanada, Shogun, and then the most HFPA coded nomination of the whole day, I would argue, Billy Bob Thornton for Landman.
Iconic nomination. So I love it so much.
Is that an international journalist's idea of American TV?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, but like they're into, they're not like the Emmys, like the Globes and SAG. They don't mind P+. They like P+.
No.
So
love to see it. Limited series, Joyce. Those nominees were Baby Reindeer, Disclaimer, Monsters, Lionel Eric Menendez Story, The Penguin, Ripley, and True Detective, Night Country.
Or as Morris Chestnut said, The True Detective, Night Country.
I had Say Nothing, so I'll take an L on that.
I got all of these, so
congratulations.
Thank you.
For limited series actor or actress, I guess we can do first. Kate Blanchett for Disclaimer, Jodie Foster, True Detective Night Country, Kristen Milioti for The Penguin, Sofia Vergara, Griselda, Naomi Watts for Feud, and Kate Winslet for The Regime, Joyce.
Double nominee, Kate Winslet. Love to see it.
Did you have her? No, we
both had Lola Pettigrew, remember?
We did.
Yeah.
So 5 out of 6
yeah,
here.
I got 5 out of 6 here. So,
congratulations, Kate. Love to see it. And then for drama, limited series, anthology series, motion picture actor, Colin Farrell, Richard Gadd, Kevin Kline, Cooper Koch for Monsters, Ewan McGregor, my favorite, Gentleman in Moscow, and Andrew Scott for Ripley.
When they read Ewan, I was like, Chris is crying right now.
What a great show. It makes me so happy that they have not forgotten about it. I got 5 of these 6. I had put Tom Hollander in. I updated
same.
It, so.
Yeah, Ewan also got a Critics' Choice last week too.
So I'm going to predict him for the Emmys when we get to do this for Emmys next year.
You already did that.
He already didn't make it. How about SAG? Can we predict him at SAG then? I'll predict him at SAG.
Go for it.
Love him so much. He won SAG, right? Didn't he win SAG for Halston? Or was that the Emmys?
That was the Emmys. He beat
the Emmys.
my guy, Paul Bettany, remember?
Of course. They love Ewan McGregor.
And they like Netflix.
Oh, this isn't even this is B+. And then
it's P+ with Showtime.
Sorry. And then supporting actress in any show. Liza Gonzalez, like we said, Hannah Einbinder, like we said, Dakota Fanning for Ripley, Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer, Allison Janney for The Diplomat, and Callie Reese for True Detective Night Country.
I got 5 out of 6. I put Kaylee back in, but I also had Nava Mal for Baby Reindeer. I did not have our girl AJ.
I had 3 out of 6 because I had Patti LuPone and Justine Liu. So.
I also talked to Justine last week, who was also amazing. So we talked about Succession, obviously. Yeah.
Love to see it. And then supporting actor, Tatenobu Asano for Shogun, Javier Bardem for Monsters, Harrison Ford for Shrinking, Jack Lowden for Slow Horses, Diego Luna for La Maquina, and Eben Moss-Backrack for The Bear. La Maquina, sorry.
Yeah, I only got half of these.
We talked about Harrison Ford and being like unsure what to do there. I went with such a crazy list. I don't even know. I think I updated it after we did it because I was just like, why not? Do you know who I put in? Renzi Feliz for the Penguin.
Oh my God.
I just thought they were going to go nuts for that show. No Peter Sarsgaard here for Presumed Innocent.
No. Or Jonathan Pryce for Slow Horses. He only did a single Slow Horse.
Yeah.
And as you know, I also had PWD for Hacks, who I didn't think would get in, but I just kept him in there.
I'm not surprised by the Diego Luna nomination. I feel like Hulu's done a pretty good job of promoting that show and getting it out there, even amid all these other shows. Harrison Ford definitely felt like Old Globes-ish to me. But yeah, but you know, I mean, he's good on the show, so it's not a bad nomination by any means. So, do we think who is winning this, Joyce?
Supporting actor?
Mm-hmm.
I think either Jack or Tadanobu. You would say Tadanobu has the stronger show in theory, because Shogun is probably winning series.
And do you think Hannah or Liza wins, or Jessica Gunning, I guess, for supporting actress?
I think Jess will probably be first in the odds.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she would win. I guess I would lean more towards Jess.
Is it possible the Bear just dominates again in the wins? I mean, obviously, yes, I guess, right?
Wins like all of these categories? It could win
supporting actress and supporting actor. It could win 5 of its 5.
Well, Eben didn't win last year because it's combines, and Matthew McFadden won, remember?
Which leads me to believe he actually maybe could win this year if they want to, like, you know.
I don't think they care about making it up like that. Okay. So, yeah, and I don't even know, like, just because Liza won the Emmy that they would feel the need to rubber stamp her.
Yeah.
You know, she also kind of feels like one of those Emmy winners, which is what I love about the Emmys, because it's like siloed by itself and there's no real precursors for it. And then there's months before the Winter Awards. Like, there's so many Emmy winners who just win the Emmy and like nothing else, right? So I could totally see Liza being one of those winners.
Mm-hmm. And the last TV one, I guess, was stand-up comedy performance. I didn't speak for me. I'm not the biggest stand-up comedy person, but I've seen at least one of these. Jamie Foxx, What Happened Was, which I think comes out to now Netflix soon. Nikki Glaser, Golden Globes host for Nikki Glaser, Someday You'll Die. Seth Meyers for Seth Meyers, Dad Man Walking. Adam Sandler for Adam Sandler, Love You. Ali Wong for Ali Wong, Single Lady. And Rami Youssef for Rami Youssef, More Feelings. I love that all of these shows or specials are SEO optimized.
Gotta get your name in there.
It's like really well done.
When you have your own stand-up special, it's Christopher Rosen, :
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, obviously that's the way to do it. You got to optimize for SEO. The only one of these I've seen is Adam Sandler, Love You, and I loved it. It's great.
The only one of these I've seen is obviously Seth Meyers.
I was like, obviously, Joyce has watched this.
Right up my alley. So, will Nikki win just because she's hosting?
For comedy, it would be funnier if she lost, right?
Yes. I mean, she'll definitely have material either way.
Yeah.
But they gave it to like Amy Poehler for Parks and Rec when she co-hosted with Tina one year. So
I kind of think she could win. I think, having not watched any of these and not looked at any odds, I would say like Jamie Foxx or Ali Wong would probably be like the quote unquote favorites.
I mean, I might go with Jamie because one of the reasons I went with Ricky Gervais last year, besides the fact that, you know, it's former Globes host Ricky Gervais, was the fact that his special was dropping on Netflix over Christmas. So it was like recency bias.
Yeah. And he's like, I mean, no disrespect to anybody here, including Adam Sandler, but I feel like certainly like a humongous name with a special that is like talking about his health and stuff that people want to hear about. So it just feels like the most like obvious one that would win, but who knows? In terms of top nominations, Joyce, Netflix dominated, had 13 nominations for picture and 23 for series or shows. Not surprised. A24 with 12 nominations, Searchlight with 9, Focus with 9, 6, excuse me, Universal with 9. Though you really could combine Universal and Focus because they're both owned by the same company. And HBO / Max at 14, FX Hulu 10.
It bothered me so much when they were like Shogun FX Hulu. It's an FX show.
If you're going to combine those, then why aren't you combining Focus and Universal? Would be my question.
Yes.
But I don't work.
It's like Hacks is Max. It's not HBO. It's Max.
So if you're combining all of those, like Universal and Focus are all the same.
Yeah,
so
if you just want to call it like the HBO family.
Yeah.
You know,
NBC,
I mean, like
family.
FX and Hulu would be under Disney. Let's be real.
Right. So, anything else here, Joyce, on the Globes that we didn't cover?
I mean, we probably didn't cover a ton of shit, but
what's one thing you think we didn't cover?
I don't know. Someone will tell us. Someone will yell at us about it.
I gotta say, I'm just gonna say, David L. Was hot to the underperformance of Presumed Innocent. I'll just say that.
I felt like he thought it was going to get snubbed completely, which it didn't.
But it didn't get into series. I like these nominations. I don't know. I thought this was a good list. They a lot to think about here. And again, some clarity for the Oscars season, but not a lot. Again, there's just a lot of movies, and it seems like my impression has been the movies that people respond to the most and have the most passion will outperform some of these other movies. So I don't know. In terms of Best Picture, Nickel Boys, The Substance, those kind of things are going to do well. And maybe Dune less so now. I don't know. I just don't know if Dune's anybody's favorite movie. That was my big takeaway.
I mean, Dune's always been, like I said, like safely in there, but I never once thought it was going to win.
Win competitive.
You know, like, but I don't know who thought it would win either, besides Josh Brolin.
Man, he's going to be so mad. Sorry, Josh Brolin, if you're watching this. I feel bad. It's a great movie. One of my faves. Joyce will be back later this week. We have our first guest coming up this week.
I know. Don't spoil it.
I won't.
It's a tease.
And we'll come back. We'll do mailbag as well. Email us at slugfest@goldderby.com.
And then there'll be Critics' Choice noms
on Thursday. We're not going to do a special thing on Thursday for that.
No, it's just bad. It's bad timing for us, but we'll mention it in the mailbag.
Yeah, next year if you want to think about us next year when you're scheduling your nominations, it'll be helpful. So we'll do that. Then we'll talk about all those. Email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Leave your comments about how much you love the new format. I love those, Joyce. Love getting comments about that.
Just all positive comments, obviously.
And we'll talk to you then. All right. Bye, Joyce. Thanks for listening to Awards Magnet. The show is produced by Aaron Greenwald. Our logo is designed by Chelsea Sikora. To be part of the show, email us at slugfests@goldderby.com and follow us on social media @goldderby.